right, so today we're going to dig into sub plans. So I'm going to tell you that my subs loved to sub for me because of the ability to use the eMusic class. It was so easy for them. They didn't need a login. I could just share that shareable link. They clicked it and everything worked without issues. So we're going to go through today, and I'm going to give you some tips that I have, and we're going to create a sub playlist, and then I'm going to pass it to Cristi, and she's going to give you even more ideas. So let me share my screen, and we're going to jump right in. All right. So I think one of the best ways to use the eMusic class with subs, again, is the playlists. So I'm going to click on the playlist tab here at the top. Now, what I did, and I could scroll through, you'll see my million different playlists. There was one called Sub Pitch Playlist, right? I always put the word sub at the front of it, so I remember what it's for. But what I did was I created a class collection, which is a collection of playlists, and I put all my sub plans in one. So if I open up that class collection, you're going to see the 4 different sub playlists that I have. I have my emergency sub plans. That's for when there's an emergency and I'm going to be out. And what I did was in this playlist, I just added, if my class is 40 minutes long, I added enough songs and materials in here that will fill 40 minutes. And I made them like super easy, not needing a lot of instruction for the sub, that they can just keep the kids engaged, moving, singing, and having a good time. So this one you can see, and these, all of mine are for like pre-K to 1 folks or 2 folks, just so you know, when you see my playlist, if you're wondering, that's why, that's how I used these. But I went with songs that I knew my kids loved. They're songs that I had already introduced them to, so they kind of knew what to do whenever they got in there, whenever they came up for the sub. All right. So that is my emergency playlist. And then what I did was I created, now I only have 3 out of the 6 here. But I created a sub playlist for each unit of instruction that I taught. So I have a playlist for every unit. All right. So if I go back and show you in my class collection, here are my units, right? And I'm going to open that up, and you'll see I have my 6 units that I break my year into. And these beautifully align with the lesson structure in eMusic class. Because whenever I was finding resources and I'm like, oh, that'd be great when I teach meter, or this would be great for pitch, I wanted a place to dump it in. And then I took those playlists and curated them down into like a 30 or 40 minute, depending how long your class is, sub-plan playlist, where I knew my kids knew these songs inside and out. Here's my pitch one. So when they're doing pitch, and you determine the order. So I want them to start with this intro video from the music show, talking about the different voices, sing, talk, whisper, shout. If I decide that I want to move, you can move things around. You can change the order. You could do it midday if you wanted, because the link that you share with the sub never changes for that. It's linked to the title of the playlist. It's not linked to what you put in it. So you could be changing things while you're out of school, and it will automatically update for whomever has that, for your sub that's with your kids. So I chose the videos and the order that they were in. You know, I have in this one, I have a couple music show videos to give them some instruction and some songs. And I put them sporadically throughout so the kids didn't get bored, but yet it kind of gave them some instruction along the way and gave the sub a little moment to kind of take a breather, grab a drink of water before they were back in. So I think that that's like thinking through, what am I going to use and how am I going to use it and how much time is it going to take is really, really important. Now I'm going to show you what the sub sees. I'm going to copy that and I'm going to drop it in to my browser. And so when the sub gets in there, here's what they see. There's no login. And so I would tell them, click on lesson view at the top, and then you just hit the arrows to advance the slides. Here's the first song. Here's the second song. And there's no issues. They're not jumping around with files. They're in there and they're good from beginning to end. And once they opened it up, I had them use it with all my classes. They were set for the day. All I had to do was type out like what I wanted the kids to be doing during each song. And that's not that difficult, folks. That's super easy to do. And then the sub, they had a great time with this, with the kiddos. So that is kind of like the thought behind playlist and class collection. So we're going to jump in and let's create one. And we're going to create it from scratch, okay? So I am going to go into my playlists and I am going to add a new playlist and I am going to call it sub beat rhythm, okay? And create. So I now have this brand new playlist in here that is empty. Okay. So now I want to go in and find the resources I'm going to put into it. And don't worry if you like, oh, I forgot to go in and add the playlist. You can do it once you find a song. So let's say the first song I want to do is Bow Wow Wow. All right, here it is. Now I could add it. Let me go back and show you. I could add it by clicking this button. But if I click the folder right here, it's going to add every asset. And like when I create playlists for my kiddos, for the sub, I want to take them to one asset, not all of them. So for Bow Wow Wow, I want the lyric video. I'm going to click that plus sign and I am going to add it to, let me scroll down, sub, beat rhythm, add playlist. Okay, boom, it's in there. All right, let's go. What other song do I know is great for teaching beat? All right, we want to add, I got the beat in my feet. And so again, I'm going to come in here. I figure out what video, do I want the lyric video or do I want the choreography video? So you have that choice. What resource do you want? I'm going to add the lyric video. So I click that plus sign. And if I hadn't put in the title of the playlist, here at the bottom is add new playlist. So I could click that, give it a title, and it's good to go. Okay. I don't want to do it that way. I want to add it to one that I already created, sub beat rhythm. Okay. So you've now seen I've added 2 songs to it and you saw how I did that. Again, add one asset because if you add all of them, the sub may not know which one to go to. Okay.
Shawna, there's a question about where can you put this there? The question is, can you put this link on a Google Classroom platform?
Absolutely. So, you can put this link. I used to put it in a Google Doc for my subs. And so that doc, I would then email it to like the secretary and they knew whatever sub came in for me, they could email it to them. So they opened up their email and they had that clickable link. They could also type it in if they wanted, but you can put it in Google Classroom 100%. All of these playlist links can go right in your Google Classroom and your kids could open it up or whomever. All right. So another great thing to add to a playlist for a sub is maybe some worksheets. Maybe you want them to do a worksheet together or maybe you photocopied a worksheet. So let me, I'm going to sort this and I'm going to go by grade range. Let's find something for first grade. Here we go. Perfect. Beat and rhythm, 2 sounds, 1 beat. Okay, this worksheet. Now, I already printed it for all the kids, but I want the sub to know the order I want it to happen and to be able to put it on the screen. Now, and they could use, if you have an interactive board, they could use it and write on this and like utilize it throughout that. So what I'm going to do is back here, here's that resource, click that little folder button, and I'm going to drop it in the sub beat rhythm playlist. So now I added that worksheet that the kids are going to do. And you can add any worksheets that you may want to utilize that are in there. So let's see, maybe there's one for, let's see, what's in kindergarten? Here's one on clapping hands. Great. Oops, nope. So I'm going to add that in there because that's a second worksheet that maybe this one's for kindergarten. The other one was for first grade. Again, you can put it in there, have it ready to go. The other great thing to add that they could do as a group, or you could put it in Google Classroom for kids to do individually, is games. The games are really great interactive tools that you can use. And so if I'm scrolling through here, I think I can go by grade range. Yep, I can. Let's see what we've got for first grade. So maybe I have them doing Feel the Beat, the song. Let me open that up and show it to you. This is a really great one where they can drag and drop to create some body percussion to go along with the song, which totally supports a beat and rhythm unit of study. And what's amazing is right here at the bottom, I'm going to play.
If you find you're feeling low and you don't know where to go, get off your seat and feel the beat. When you want
All right, so you get the point. The sub can have them coming up to the board, dragging and dropping, creating this great body percussion. If they want to retry, they could reset it. Sorry. Oh, there we go. Reset. It'll start over. And they have the track right there to have the kids play it. You could have them have a couple kids try it and the whole class do it along with them. So again, these interactive games are a really great thing that you can add to take up some time and give the sub something constructive that they can do with your kids. So I'm going to put that in the playlist as well. Let's see if there's another one we might like.
You know, while you're looking, I might just point out that if you know who your sub is, you can actually mail the link to them the day before if they wanted to test it out so that they can kind of know what they're doing heads up wise. That can all be done via email, and they can just use the email or bring their own computer or whatever, because you can view what you're looking at on any resource, like an iPad. You can view it on a phone. It's harder on a phone because there's a lot of little bitty things, but you can see the whole thing ahead of time if you wanted to.
Absolutely. That's a great idea, Cristi. 100%. And sometimes it ends up being that like a bunch of different teachers cover your class, right? And so if you've already sent the plans to like the secretary or something, they can shoot it out to whatever teacher's going to be in there. And it's just helpful. And if the other teachers know that you've done this, they won't be as like miffed that they have to sub for you and come up with something to do in music class. Oh, I know Shawna has some fun stuff. They'll tell the secretary, hey, send that to me so I can do it. Here's another really great one to create a little rhythmic ostinato and have the kids, you could pass out rhythm sticks or whatever. The sub could interact with this with the kids. Another great one that you could use. I'll drop that one in there. And maybe that one didn't have the music to go with it. So maybe you want them to play it along. So I'm going to go back to songs. And I'm going to find Asarin in here. Why is it not coming up? Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is. Because I spelled it wrong. I put 2 S's in. There's only 1 S. That's why. All right. So maybe I want to have the lyric video and I can click that plus, add it right to that playlist. And now I'm going to show you what that playlist looks like before we go over. Let's see. So here we go to playlists. Here's that first one. And actually, I'm going to add it to my class collection called sub plans. So it's easy for me to find. But I'm going to open it up. And here's what we put in there. Okay. Now I can choose what order do I want these things to happen. So we've got bow, wow, wow, the lyric video. I've got the beat. I want to move this worksheet. They're going to do that second. They're actually going to do this one. And then I'm going to move. Oh, nope. Sorry. I clicked on it. Move this one back over here. And we're going to do this after feel the beat. And so I just gave an order to what I want the sub to do with all of these amazing resources. Now, one thing I wanted to make sure Cristi wasn't going to talk about it. You know what else I could add to this, Cristi, that would be really great? I know there are some listening maps that could be really amazing, and they have some great lesson plans in here. Let's see. Which one do we want to do for beat rhythm? Any jump out at you off the top of your head, Cristi?
Oh, gosh. American in Paris is good, except it's a little bit older. I'm looking.
And it's kind of knock music. I like that one. And I have the kids like move like the animal, like to the beat. Have you ever done that?
No, that's a good idea.
Yeah, my kids loved it. So we would come up with movements to start. Okay, what would a bunny do? All right, we're going to hop with the beat when it's the theme of the bunny. For the squirrel, they wanted to climb. So we did this to the beat. For the bird, we'd flap our wings to the beat. So anyways, I came up with little movements. Easily have this, tell the sub what the movements are, and the kids could follow through this. You can turn on the notation if you want with older kids. The answers are going to have that animal moving and guide their eyes along the listening map. So you know what, let's add that one. That's a great thing. I love that for the sub plans. I try to kind of change it up and have different things in there to keep the kids excited, engaged, and keep it relevant for the sub. And then I always like to put like tried and true things, like what are a couple songs that, you know, just reinforce what we're doing, but I know the kids are gonna love. Like one of them is the Mickey Mouse March. They love that song. So I'm going to add in the lyric video for that one, because I know that's a great one that will support it. What other songs? Oh, I know what else I want to add. I definitely want to add. I'm going to go back to resources. These I loved for the subs, especially K-2 folks, is the music show. So right here, bam, beat is the heart of music. We're talking about beat. We're talking about rhythm. I've got rhythm. How about you? I can add all of these. And listen, even if I did them in class with the kids, these don't get old with them. They love these little cartoons, really. They're like little cartoons where they interact with the characters, Mike the microphone and our Luigi, the conductor's wand. They have a dialogue and teach them about the concept. And then there's always a song that shows that concept and brings it to life for the kids. So we just added a whole bunch of stuff to this amazing sub beat rhythm playlist. I added those 2 new things. I'm not going to want them back to back. So I'm going to reorder. Okay, you know what? I want to start with a music show video, give them some initial instruction. And I'm going to move this one over here after they do the worksheet. And now I've got a great order for it. Sorry, I didn't mean to click that. I've got a great sub plan. I'm going to share it, generate that link, and now I can post that link wherever I want. Copy. Again, I'm going to show you what it looks like. Share this tab. So this is what your sub will see when they open it up, and you just tell them, click that blue lesson view, and then you can scroll forward. And honestly, even my kindergarten kids, they knew how to work these they knew how to work these playlists because they saw me doing it. So I would always even with kindergarten, I'd be like, hey, you can always have this to help you out. Somebody just asked if there are any issues with buffering internet and smart boards. I never had that issue personally. That might be your district internet, connectivity, or where's the hotspot that you're joining. I've never had that with EE music class personally. Have you, Cristi?
No, I mean, only if there's something sketchy going on weather-wise, you might have some issues, but I don't know if it has to depend upon how big the platform is. That we're lucky that it's easy to click in and get it going.
Yeah, really. I never personally even ever had buffering issues, and I used it since it came into existence. So again, your sub has the ability up here to go to the drop down, but you created the custom order. So you just tell them, just click the arrow when you finish a song and click the arrow, and they can move through each of these things. Now, I will tell you, if you put worksheets in here, know that sometimes page 2 has the answer key. So you might want to warn the sub, don't scroll to page 2, keep it at page 1, but they can, help guide the kids. Even if you print them individually, it's good for them to have it on the board and go over the directions, be able to answer any questions. So it should be pretty self-explanatory, but it's always good to have that visual representation for the kids. My last little nugget before I pass it over to Cristi is I love to leave children's books, especially with K-2. There are so many children's books out there, many of which now there's more and more books being written by fellow music educators that are focused on different music topics even. But even there's non-music specific children's books that will support like a steady beat or things like that. Or it's just the kids enjoy them. So don't be afraid to leave a book for your sub to read to the kids. And then maybe there's a song that you connect to it, that has the same theme or supports a theme that's within the book. Because man, there are plenty of songs in EE music class to be able to connect to any book that might be out there and the lesson it might be teaching.
Wow, I learned some things today. That was great.
That's why we love to do it. I'm going to learn from you too, Cristi.
I know. All right. So now here I'm going to kind of take up to the next tab, and that is going to be my ideas I'm going to give you are for grades 3 through 5. Presently, I teach 5th grade, but most of my teaching career has been for elementary, and 3 through 5 is kind of where I'm going to go with my ideas. Now, if you're not an EE essentials person, if you're not EE music classroom people, if you don't have that, remember you can get a free trial to try it. But I'm also going to give you ideas that if you don't have that, you will be able to find these resources outside of our platform, and then you could use them for your sub plan. Here's my biggest problem with the sub. I have no idea if they have any music skill or not. And most of the time they don't. So I have to make sure that it's something that they can absolutely just touch with their finger. It goes. And if I know I'm going to be gone, usually I try to pick a person per class that I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to be gone. You're going to be in charge of making sure that Mrs. or Mr. So-and-so kind of knows what's going on. And it's up to you. They like that leadership role. Okay, let me just kind of share my screen and get to where I'm going to go. Everything I'm showing you is in EE music, but there are also resources. These resources you can find outside of. All right, I'm not as fast at getting to this stuff.
You know what, can I jump in and throw in something while you're getting to where you need to go, Cristi?
Yeah.
Another thought that I didn't bring up is the lesson plans that are in EE music class. When our team wrote those lessons, we wrote them for a green or music certified person to be able to teach. So you could even leave one of the created lessons in EE music class and print out that full lesson plan, because we wrote them scripted. So although it's not like they're probably not the best person, we did try to write it. We did write them so that anyone could be successful. So that's another option too for sub lesson plans if you really wanted to.
Okay, now the first resource that I'm going to show you is in our resource or virtual library, and I'm going to share this tab instead. This is called Musical Cups, and why I love this is because this has videos in it. So if you are not able to explain to your sub how to do these particular patterns, the video will do it for them, and it gives them everything that they need to see. Hopefully you'll have already done some of these with your kids, and you also have given the groundwork on what the expectations are on how to handle the cups. You can share that with the sub.
Hey there, I'm Claudia. And I'm Jalen. We'll be demonstrating the musical cup patterns to accompany the song Brave by Sarah Bareilles. There are only 2 patterns, and you will need 1 musical cup held upside down in your right hand.
Here's pattern 1. We have a new move, but it's easy. Simply tap the side bottom of the cup on the table. 1, 2, ready, begin. Tap, side, tap, pat.
All right, now this is going to go through the entire thing to tell the kids how to do the pattern. And then down here, it kind of shows what they're going to do. And then there's a recording where they can play it as they do the pattern. Follow those patterns. It's just a magnificent resource because it just gives hours and hours to the kids. I have found that they don't get tired of doing anything from that side. It always gives them some, modern songs where they get to do some things with it. All right. Now, I'm not sure what you're seeing. Hopefully you're seeing me. Are you seeing me?
Yep, we're seeing you. Yep.
Okay, good. I'm going to go back in now to the next one that I think that you would have fun with. And this is going to be a listening map for the kids. She talked about the listening maps. There are some of these listening maps that are interactive. Hold on just a sec. Let me get to that tab. And what I mean by interactive is that they move along with the music. Here's an example of one. Right now, obviously you are familiar with the song. If you're not, it's been in lots of movies. In fact, over here in this little drop down, there is an audio of Luigi, who was in that little cartoon thing that from the music show that Shawna was talking about. And Luigi talks to Mike, the microphone, about where this song has been found and what it's all about. You've got about 5 minutes worth of listening where the kids can listen to it. Let me give you just a little bit of it.
Dun, 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 dun.
What's all that racket all about?
Dun, 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 dun.
That's it, folks. I think Luigi's Baton has finally lost all touch with reality.
All right, I don't want to go further, but you can see how entertaining that is for the kids.
Hey,
Right,
Cristi, I'm
yeah.
seeing a white, just a white screen right now.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's just the
Oh.
audio.
When you,
Share-
yeah, Cristi, I recently found all those amazing things tagged with the listening maps. There's so many little embedded resources that if you open up the listening map on that download
Yes.
button, there's so much in there that you don't even realize.
Yeah, that one that I just showed you.
Yeah.
Okay, right there are all of those little things that go with it. Now, what I did, or what I would do with my sub, is I put this in a playlist and let them listen to Luigi's Baton, talk about it. Then they watch the listening map, and then there is actually a lesson plan that gives them all this information about the song and the history of it. And so what I did is, after I got to that lesson plan, I'm going to show this tab instead. I just copy pasted that into ChatGPT. I'm a abuser, and I asked ChatGPT to create a worksheet with the questions that applied to this particular lesson. And I said 15 questions. It will condense it down. Now, let me see if I can get to my other tab. Hold on a second. I'm really not very good at all this, but I'm getting better. I'm getting better. So what it came up with is this particular window. Where'd he go? Hold on. Well, that's not what I thought I was getting. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Nope. There we go.
We see your big marker. Right
Okay.
now.
Hold on. I'm going to stop sharing and see if I can do this again, because I want you to see the worksheet that I came up with. Window. Okay, hold on. See if I can find it this way. Well, doesn't matter. I created a worksheet. I printed it out. I'm going to have that sub read it. Now, what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to have the kids divide up into little teams, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And maybe there's 3 or 4 in each team. And then she's going to read the question from the worksheet, and they get to decide as a team where the answer is. So the answer A will be in one corner, answer B will be in another corner, C will be in one corner, and D. If they all feel it's the same side or the same corner, that's fine. But if a team gets the answer wrong, they drop out of the game. So you can have all the kids go around. You can have them do it individually. You can have them, in the 4 corners. You can just have them answer by pencil and paper, and the sub could give the answer. Sometimes we have in our school trees, because we have a thing called and to be growing. So our trees are houses, tree houses, like, Harry Potter. So we can give points out to individual houses or tree houses according to who gets the answers right. So that's kind of a worksheet thing that you can do with your kids. Also, you could take that worksheet and put it into Kahoot. You can put it into GimKit. You can put it in Edpuzzle. If your kids have platforms that they can use from that and your sub knows how to use it, most of our subs know how to use that. So it's good to have that available. All right, now I'm going to go to the next idea that I have. This is, I can get there. Hold on just a second. Okay. This comes from the Music Express magazine because there are 3 years worth of digital Music Express magazines that are found on the resource site. Even if you don't have it, the idea can be used. So share this tab instead. This is called, did I do the right one? Yeah, Backstage at Broadway with the Lion King. Why I love this is because John Jacobson takes us to Broadway. So you can read this or have the sub read that with them. They can display it. And then when the video starts,
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Music Express. We're back. We're back on Broadway. Look, we're standing right in front of the Minskoff Theater. That's the home of the one and only award-winning Lion King.
all right, so this goes on for quite a while. And it's really great to, I don't know what you're seeing. Are you seeing me?
We're seeing you. Yep.
Okay. It's really great for the kids to kind of experience that if they've never been around all that. And there's a worksheet that they can fill out if they want to answer questions about what they watched. And then you, of course, could go to AI and do the same thing that you did with the ride of the Valkyries. Then, if you wanted to, you could go into and have a playlist that you could put together for all the Lion King songs that are in EEMC. So there's Circle of Life, there's Hakuna Matata, there's You're Never Too Late. Those are things that you could have the sub do with you. I hope I'm not losing you. There we go. So that's another idea that you can put together for your sub to do. Easy. Another one that is easy to leave for subs is one that comes from one of those Music Express magazines. Also, let me get back to that. And it comes from that magazine. And this one's called Powerful Voices. And inside of that, there is a song called Signs and Symbols. And the song is not important, is not, other than it just sets up the activity. But you play the song through. All right, after they've kind of sung the song and gotten those things done, then you pick out signs and symbols that maybe you're already working on with them in class. Maybe it's dynamics. So all the signs and symbols that you're going to focus on will be the dynamics signs and symbols. Forte, piano, mezzo forte, mezzo piano, pianissimo, fortissimo. You're going to make 2 or 3, maybe 4 cards identical. So 4 fortissimo cards, 4 pianissimo cards, 4 mezzo piano, you know what I'm talking about. So you have enough for all of the kids. So if you have 21 kids, I would do maybe 7 different symbols and 3 cards of each of those. And you can kind of play around with the numbers. Now, this is a game that we played when I was young, and it was Upset the Fruit Basket. Do you guys remember that game? Everybody sits in the circle. There's one person in the middle. And the idea is you call out something, and people that have those symbols, like you called out fortissimo, everyone that has a fortissimo symbol in their hand, they have to get up and switch to a different chair. So you're only going to have 3 people, and they're switching. And the person in the middle, they're going to try to capture into one of those seats before all the switching takes place. So the teacher calls out the symbols to make sure that it's getting evenly done. And sometimes I won't even do the symbol name. Maybe I'll say this symbol means very loud. Then they have to do the transfer as to what that symbol would be. And then every once in a while you say, upset the music basket, and everybody gets up and switches to a different seat. Then, of course, that person in the middle is constantly trying to get in the middle. Now, I wouldn't suggest you doing that game unless you'd already done it with the kids before the sub came, because it might get a little crazy, and they would know what your expectations are that maybe your sub needs to reinforce while they're there. So that is an idea that I think works really well. There is a resource on, I'm going to stop sharing that. There's a resource that is now new in Music Express, that like Music Express into EE Music, that is called 5 a Day. Let me see if I can get there for you. And what's really cool about this is that I actually want to show you where that's found. All right, here are 5 a Day. And in here, these are lessons that are 5 minutes long. And it's a group from UK that's put it together. So there's a whole bunch of vocal warm-ups. Are you seeing that? Okay. Mm-hmm. And if you don't want that one, if you wanted to do body percussion, there are 5-minute body percussions. There's drumming. Now, my favorite thing is the fact that I don't have to teach it if I don't want to. If I just want them to teach it, let's look at this one. This is a song that everybody should know if you don't already. It's the Fruit song. Hold on, it's going to show up just a second. Okay.
Welcome to Hal Leonard's 5 a Day. And speaking of 5 a Day, this song is about fruit. And by the end of it, I hope we'll have made a rather tasty fruit salad. Just for me. Mango, 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 mango. Your turn. Mango, mango, mango.
If you don't know this song, it is a lot of fun. For your older kids, they absolutely love it. I even have 7th and 8th graders that want to sing the Fruit song because it's just basically bottle of pop where there's 3 different songs, partner songs. In this particular one, he does 4 different ones, but he gives them a chance to practice it with him. And then they each get to do the actions and they can stack it on top of each other, or they can just do it in tandem. I mean, yeah, one after another consecutively. All right. So that is a great place to find resources for that. Let's see. I don't know what you're seeing, but maybe
we're just seeing us, Cristi.
Okay, good. I'm going to show you one more that I think would be great for subs. Excuse me. This is musicals that we now have. Let me get back up there and I can get to those musicals. Okay. In the resources now are musicals. And there are some for your younger kids, but there are a couple for your older kids. And there's one in particular called The Elephant Child. Now, I have done The Elephant's Child with my 4th and 5th grade students maybe 4 or 5 times in my teaching career because I love it so much. It's an Emily Crocker and John Jacobson musical, but it's for an older singer. And what's great is it's even if you've never introduced this to the kids, it's a story. And let me show you kind of where it is, see if I can get it to go there. Okay. It's also set, so it's progressive. So you just have to click to the next.
Hush, baby, hush, baby, hush, baby, hush, baby, hush, baby, hush.
I'm going to fast forward to this.
Hush, baby, hush.
The elephant, oh best beloved, had no trunk. He had only a blackish, bulgy nose as big as a boot that he could wriggle about from side to side, but he couldn't pick up things with it. But there was one elephant, a new elephant, an elephant's child who was full of satiable curiosity, and he lived in Africa.
That's a great musical just to leave with your sub and have them show your students. And they're going to want to sing the songs. You can have them actually do it a couple times through if the class is longer. All right. Now, those are all the ideas that I have for you that are actually found in other places, but you can also find them on EE Music Class. So do we have any questions out there?
I've been kind of answering them as we want. Someone did your game you did with the upset.
Oh, yeah.
And they did it with instruments, which I love that idea.
I do too. That's a great idea.
Really great idea. I thought of another resource in EE music class that I neglected to mention during mine. If you don't mind, I'm going to share my screen and show you guys it. I think it's really great for the younger kids. And so let me show you. And that is, if I go in the resources, I can't believe I forgot to mention this, the Disney music activities.
Those are great.
These are so good. So, for instance, if I go to the Mickey's Found Sounds, a musical exploration storybook. So it's literally a children's book right here on your screen, folks. If you have them click launch, you can add that to a playlist, and then they can literally go through it, and it reads the book to the kids. The sub doesn't even have to read and hold a book. So talk about being lazy, but it's really great. Let's play a little. So, I mean, it's all right here that they can just go through this book. It's really great. Oh, sorry. I didn't share the tab. Oh, sorry.
We could twirl lassos, said Goofy. Those are all great ideas, said Mickey. Let's get going.
So it literally reads the book for the kids, which I think is really great. The other, so there's a bunch in here that you could do. There's a Tangled, It's Better When You Sing. There is this Moana one that will take them through different activities. So let me launch that. I will share that tab instead. And if they pull down at the top, message to teachers, boom, right here, it gives them you could copy this, paste it right into your lesson plan to tell the sub what you want done for each part of it. So if you go to 2, and then here it is, and right, boom, there's your track.
The beat is all around you. Moana lives on the beautiful green island.
So the subs can just go through these step by step, and this could probably practically fill an entire class period, just this resource alone. And I guarantee your kiddos will love it. So I didn't want to forget about that. I can't believe I didn't put it in my notes. But as Cristi was talking, I was like, oh my gosh.
That's a great resource.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. We do have one question here. What do you leave for an elderly sub with little tech experience? Any thoughts?
I leave something like music bingo. To be really honest with you, I kind of try to stay away from things where they're going to have to go to my Promethean board or anything like that. I will use them something easy like music bingo. And a lot of times for music bingo, I've taken pictures and shown them what the setup needs to look like so that I'm not having to, recreate that. I have a major music bingo sheet that they do, and there's games that they've played in class before, and sometimes I will leave those types of things too.
Yeah, most of mine, I didn't really run into that, but typically I've even left them, you want to talk old school, like a boombox with a CD with songs, and that can be helpful. If you have those capabilities, you can keep one of these playlists and literally, you have the right to download the songs. You could offload it real old school so that they're just putting it into, they can handle that.
Cool.
If your kids are not familiar with if you're not familiar with Young Person's Guide to the Orchestra, the Carnegie Hall Safari game, that is absolutely something you can have the kids do. I don't usually do that for the young ones, but for the older ones, they love that. If they've got their computer or some sort of computer they can bring, they like doing that. So that's also another one that you can do.
And a lot of times, your kids can help the sub too. And so I 100% would still potentially leave it and make sure in the beginning of the year, I'd find a kid in each class that's my go-to and have them be this. I always had a little badge. They could be the student teacher for the day and they're my helper. And through that, I would teach them how to use the tech. And then they could kind of run it for the sub, that they wouldn't have to worry about it. So that's also an option. Lean into your kids. I mean, I had first graders that could literally teach for the sub and would if you let them.
I'm reading a comment. I have difficulty getting subs to do any plans. I've had a few of those, and I've come back to my classroom and I've spent all this time with sub plans and they've done something totally different. And I just think that's the nature of the beast. I don't know if you're going to get around all of that. If they could realize how easy it is to just kind of click on something like the platforms that we've given you, and especially the playlists ideas, how you can just go from one to the next. But you know, it's the luck of the draw. A lot of times they feel like they're doing you a favor for being there. And so they're going to do what they want to do. And I don't know if you can get around that. So that's sad. But I just want you to know you're not alone.
Yeah, 100%. Listen, now that I'm in admin, there's no shame in going to your principal and being like, listen, or preemptively, you know, if you don't know, be like, hey, I'm going to be out. I left all of this. If they tend to know you did all of this, I hope your administrator is supportive, that they may have your back and maybe like they'll pop in and, you know, see what's going on. Or I just saw somebody said my team, like art teachers, a resource I use for my sub. Yeah, exactly. So I think like utilize, if you have the art teachers, like your buddy in your building, maybe they check in with the sub before school starts. Hey, I know they left this. Sometimes if someone like gives a little poke, like, oh, somebody's looking and they know there's an expectation, it might help. It might not too, but.
And hey, there's no shame in saying that you're going to leave them Beethoven lives upstairs. If that's something they need to be exposed to, a lot of times, if I'm going to leave them something like that, then I will create a Kahoot or a GIMP kit where they have to answer questions. So it's not like you're just going to get a free day. You're going to need to pay attention because we are going to do a follow-up activity that will complement what you're watching today. So there's no shame in that. Sometimes we just have to make that happen because it's maybe in an emergency and you don't have time to get anything sent out. So
absolutely. It happens. Yeah. And the other thing I was just going to mention was, you know, you don't have control over what they do, but I will say, like, I also would get to know the subs that frequent in my building. And when they would drop off the kids or pick them up, I'd try to really interact with them and try to create relationships with the subs that were in my building frequently so that they got to know me, I got to know them. And listen, you do freeze dance for 30 to 40 minutes, eventually the kids are going to get bored. Like, it's not going to sustain them. So you could just do my lesson plan that will make your life easier. You know, that is, you know, it's all conversations and relationship building if you have the opportunity.
Yeah.
You know.
Love that. So all that to be said, Shawna, Cristi, thanks again for all of your time and effort. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Awesome.
Thanks, everybody.
Happy back to school. See you later.